Minister, as part of your responsibility, does it sit with you to set the direction for the department?
To set the direction for the department? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that, but I'm happy to answer the question. My job as the Minister is to outline what the government's priorities are, what the government has told the community it's going to do, and the department then gets on with doing the day-to-day work.
So that would be
and policy development and all of those things that government departments do. I don't direct the day-to-day machinery of the department.
But the overall direction of the department based on government policies
Sure.
falls on you. Minister, are you happy with the results of the PMS, the Public Matters Survey, and what that says about your leadership of the department?
Well, I don't think it refers to the minister's or the government's leadership. I think these are internal surveys about staff. That's a matter for the Secretary of the Department, so I'm happy to hand over to him.
Sorry, I'm asking specifically your views on them. So you're suggesting a poor result in that PMS reflects on these people sitting next to you?
No, that's not what I said, but it's not. These surveys occur in departments on a regular basis, and they provide feedback for the internal workings of the department. It's not a matter for me, it's a matter for the Secretary. I actually haven't seen the recent version of it, but I'm aware of some of the feedback. There's a lot of change going on in this department. I outlined earlier that we've created a new department. There's been some significant restructuring going on. I would imagine there are views about that, but the internal workings of the department are a matter for the Secretary.
So you haven't seen the results of the People Matter Survey?
I haven't gone through it, no.
Really?
I would have thought that was... I mean, it's a couple of things that were particularly worrying to me, and I thought they would have been to you as well, also as a former staffer of DPI.
You did work for the department, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, after the election in 2019, you lost the election and you got a job in the department.
No, that's not correct at all, Minister. If you want to swap spots, you can sit here and ask questions and I'll sit there.
I'm good.
Minister, two of the things that came up were, I would recommend my organisation as a great place to work, and I'm proud to tell others that I work for my organisation. These stats have come off 9% and 8%. Minister, why don't people want to work for your department anymore?
These are questions for the Secretary. I get asked at every estimates hearing. There's such a significant interest from the National Party in the internal staffing arrangements of the department. I'm sorry, I don't need to be heckled from the gallery, Mr. Chair, so that's just not going to happen.
No.
I really do want to say this for the record, as I regularly do. I respect everybody who works in our department. They do such incredible work. They are such valuable public servants who cover a diverse range of activities for the government and for the people of New South Wales. They've all got my full respect, but the internal workings, the internal staffing arrangements for the department are a matter for the Secretary and a matter for the department. So I'll hand over to the Secretary for that.
No, sorry, I was asking specifically for your views on this. And the reason we care about this is because we acknowledge how important a role it does play in primary industries, as you just suggested there. But some of the things in here are quite concerning when you look at the overall picture, and as you said, focusing on what the government is setting as far as the agenda. One of the concerns is that if you look at the senior leadership, the comments on senior leadership, less than half the people in your organisation feel that executives provide clear direction for the future of the organisation. Could that reflect, Minister, on the fact that the senior executives themselves are not clear about the future of the organisation and have their own doubts?
I'm going to ask the Secretary to answer these questions.
Minister,
the internal staffing arrangements are a matter for the department and for the Secretary of the department.
I'm asking what you view of these results.
And I'm saying the staffing arrangements are a matter for the department.
So you don't have a view on how the department's performing?
I've just outlined my view of how the department's performing. I think they're fantastic. I think the department, people across the department do incredibly important work every single day. I have respect for every person who works in the department for the people of New South Wales, whether it's research, whether it's policy advice. There's a range of roles, or the executive, the team sitting around me are terrific. They do fantastic work. There has been significant change over the course of the last couple of years because this government has restructured. We have set up a new department. There will be people who have views about change, and I respect that. But the government has set up a new department that I think is functioning well in the interests of the people of New South Wales. The internal mechanisms, the internal staffing arrangements, the internal work of the department is a matter for the department. It's not appropriate for me to interfere in that.
Minister, what sort of percentage of the staff do you think would be fair to be on temporary contracts?
Less than they used to be. The temporary contracts and the casual employment arrangements in the department, I would say, were not managed properly under the previous government.
Minister, what
People
percentage of the
sometimes.
staff
I'd like to
do you
finish the
think should
answer.
be temporary
I'd like to
contracts?
finish the answer, if that's okay.
Yeah, if you're happy to answer the question that I've asked.
I am answering the question and I'd like to finish the answer. I think it's important. Where there are arrangements for, sometimes there is a need for a temporary workforce to come through where there is a particular issue. I'll use the example of biosecurity. So if there's an issue where we need a surge, where we need extra hands on deck for a particular issue, then it's appropriate for people to be brought in to deal with that. Unfortunately, over a period of time that's happened, but there's been no arrangements for that to be managed properly. Sometimes there's going to be a need for temporary workforce. Sometimes there's not, and these things get managed by the department.
Minister, how many additional, you talk about the surge for biosecurity, how many additional staff are put on to deal with fire ants?
Individual staffing arrangements are a matter for the department, so I'll ask Steve to answer the specific question. I don't allocate individual staff numbers or individual staff to roles. What I can say is that this government brought forward $95 million in funding. The previous government, your government, had $15 million on the table to deal with.
I'm asking about
I want to
staffing.
finish the answer to the question.
Is it about staff?
Chair.
Is it about
I need
staffing?
to be able to answer the questions.
Minister, is your answer about
I'm trying to be
staffing?
transparent and answer the question, so I'd like to be able to finish. So I think that's pretty reasonable.
What?
We brought forward $95 million in funding to deal with the National Eradication Program.
She's talking over
That
you,
the individual resourcing, the level of how many staff and where the staff are placed is a matter for the department.
Okay, to be fair, Minister, I think you had finished your answer and you were going to pass to Mr. Orr to give us the figures on staffing directed towards fire ants or biosecurity in general, was
If
it?
that's okay, I'll come back to Mr. on that later on.
Okay.
Back to the staff survey, one area that the Chair actually touched on earlier that is particularly bad as far as their results is the fisheries and forestries area. We see across, they're at least 5% down on the broader unit on every marker. And they're the only unit to be down that far on anything. Minister, do you think this would reflect on things such as, the cloud your government's put over the forestry industry, and I think you should take this as a badge of honour, but your close alignment and reliance on the Greens, and the other issues that the Chair touched on before around fisheries compliance, are those policy settings negatively affecting the staff in that sector?
Look, the policy settings that the government are undertaking, I've outlined some of it today. We're working through plans for the forestry industry going forward. The team in the department who do work on that are fantastic. If there are views internally, it's a matter for the department, so it's a matter for the secretary. In the fisheries team, fantastic group of people who do great work on policy and compliance. Support them. I think they're fantastic. If there are particular views internally in relation to feelings about the employment relationship, it's a matter for the department and it's a matter for the secretary.
All across the board, the majority of results on the People Matter survey has declined over the past 2 years. Do you think this reflects on you as the leader of that organisation?
I'm the minister, I'm not the leader of the organisation. The department provides work as public servants for the people of New South Wales under the leadership of the secretary, and I'm fulfilling my role as a minister in the government. Again, I can't stress it enough. I think the people who work in the department at every level, at every post are fantastic. I celebrate the work that they do at every possible opportunity, and I'll do it again today. If people are watching, thank you for the contributions that you are making to New South Wales, and I hope that continues. But the internal employment arrangements are a matter for the secretary and for the department.
So do you think then that decline in results reflects more on yourself as the minister, or the secretary that you appointed as the head of that organisation?
I don't think either of those things. There's been a lot of change occur over the last couple of years, which will be positive, is having a positive impact on how this new department provides services to the people of New South Wales, and I look forward to everyone in the department continuing to provide services to the people of New South Wales.